Hey guys, Ken here from the Retro Toys Escapades channel Malaysia. On the channel today, I'm checking out the packaged images of the latest vehicle offering in the MOTU Origins line. This is the Collector Evil Airship of Skeletor. Now this release is pretty notable, not only because it's the first vehicle in the cartoon collection subline, but also because it's the first vehicle for MOTU Origins in something like about 2 years. I think the last vehicle that we got was the Roton, and man, that was such a long time ago. Basically, all of the vehicles that I've seen put out in MOTU Origins, I've seen them all go on clearance. All of them, even fantastic looking stuff like Stridor. I've covered it here on the channel so many times, all right? Stridor's been on clearance up to like about 40 ringgit Malaysian. So anyway, I'm a bit surprised that they're going back to vehicles again, and also because they're not choosing something that's immediately recognizable to vintage fans, but it is a vehicle that's never been produced before for the Masters of the Universe toy range. But as of the last 1 year, it's been making appearances on packaging box artwork, and most prominently also in the mini comic written by Joshua Sky for the He Skeletor release. Okay, he made a great appearance in that one. So guys, this Collector comes in a massive looking box. Obviously, because the vehicle itself is supposed to be really huge enough to fit something like 3 figures as promised. The front of the box features this fantastic action sequence where the vehicle is just descending onto the lands and using its giant claws to grab onto He-Man. The heroes can only look on helplessly. Battle Cat roaring helplessly. Man-at-Arms shooting something like a tiny laser blast at this massive vehicle, right? Also helpless. But in the skies, the Talon Fighter, a bunch of sky sleds are coming, help is on the way. The entire layout of the packaging box looks fantastic. It really captures the immensity of what this vehicle is. But what is the Collector anyway? It's definitely not Skeletor's primary mode of transportation in the air. He's also got the Fright Fighter, remember? But it definitely is something that looks very interesting. Okay, it's a cranium-shaped craft, like a flying skull head, right? It is very basic looking, I have to say, though, all right? I mean, I'm looking at the images here of the actual toy. It doesn't seem to have a lot of detailing to it. It's big for sure, but the outer sections of the vehicle look pretty basic. Colors are just flat, man. But what's interesting is that you get this large front windscreen section and also something like a nose tip there that appears to be in translucent yellow. So that's pretty interesting. Now, the entire top section of the vehicle can be lifted up, and you get this inner seating compartment, a very spacious looking seating compartment where 3 figures can be comfortably placed. There doesn't seem to be a hell of a lot of detail in there, I think. I can't really tell if there's consoles or anything like that, but there are steering handles for the figures to hold on to, and there's 2 chairs in the front there that are sort of like blue in color, and the one in the back is like a more regal looking gold. Okay, that's Skeletor's seat. Okay, nobody sits in that seat except the man himself, Bonehead himself. That's one regal looking chair, and it is nice that not all the chairs are just generic looking. There is one there that's truly fit for a king. And you know what, this thing actually reminds me of a gigantic bathtub. Okay. Actually, no, you know what, scratch that. It reminds me of a jewelry box, okay, like a giant evil jewelry box, okay, that you can just pass on to your girlfriend and she can just dump all her pearls and necklaces inside. That's what this thing reminds me of, okay? It's like a casing that you open up and you can just throw stuff in. It's kind of like one of those Mighty Max vehicles. You remember those things from the 90s? Okay, they had this kind of like play sets that would sort of like open up and then you get this entire play environment. It's something like that, okay? It's just that this thing comes with far less detailing. Definitely far less detailing, and you do see the claws here on the sides. I guess these can be extended out, I think, and also a pair of blast effects. It would be great if those things could actually fire out, but they appear to just be there for display. The blast effects are translucent though, so there's that. Now around the sides of the box, you do get some pretty interesting Easter eggs. Okay, a couple of characters that they've snuck in here. Among them is the Imp. Hordak's imp companion, right? He's just lurking there in the shadows, spying on everything. And on the other side of the flap, you get She-Ra herself, right, on Swiftwind. Okay, this is a pretty major character to just be snuck in the shadows like that, and probably gives us the hint that the cartoon collection will definitely be expanding to include She-Ra and the whole gang from her cartoon. Okay, so once we go into that area, hell, they can expand this cartoon collection line for a couple of years. Okay, maybe 5. I don't know, right? But the sneak preview of Swiftwind is interesting. A lot of people want a chance to actually own a Swiftwind for something like the Origins line, because I think the last time that we had a Swiftwind was all the way back when Classics released it. Okay, I brought it out also for review a couple of years ago. So definitely, these are some pretty sizzling teasers. Now, on the top section of the box here, we also get pictorial instructions. Okay, it says here, fit 3 Masters of the Universe Origins action figures, right? So you actually have Web Store here, who's just been announced for the cartoon collection. He is seen here riding this whole collector airship. And the next picture here says, grasp enemies and collect them as prisoners. Yeah, but where do you stash the prisoners after you collect them? See, there isn't really like a section here where you can store stuff. Okay, store anything that's just been picked up, right? So poor Man at Arms here is just going to be floating through space. And the last one here says, unleash blast effects at enemies. Yeah, but these things don't actually fire, do they? I don't see like a firing mechanism or anything like that. It would be great if they could just shoot out, right? But yeah, I mean, they're just there as effects. Now, this collector vehicle retails for something like $45. It's up for pre-order right now on Big Bad Toy Store. I think that, I'm not particularly excited about it. I am excited about the fact that it's a MOTU release for sure, okay, and one that belongs to Origins, one that does have its roots in the classic cartoon, one that's pretty vintage, never been released before. But at the same time, I have to say that this thing does look pretty boring to me for what it is. I don't know what the actual thing is going to look like in hand, in person, in comparison with everything else. It does look massive for sure. But is it worth that price point of $45? You tell me, guys, okay, what do you think, right? Is it worth that price? I think that was something like what the Point Dread and Talon Fighter set was going for as well. And that thing has since gone on clearance. So something like this, probably, if it ends up at retail, most likely, okay, the same fate, okay, is going to end up on clearance. I don't really want it to end up like that, but I think that a lot of people most likely would be waiting for it to be on clearance before they pick it up. Now, on the back here of the box, you get another really exciting visual, but this time with all the action figures. It's not painted artwork or anything like that. You do get a pretty exciting visual here of all of the cartoon collection figures released to date and those that are coming on the way. Piloting the collector is none other than Clawful and Spycore, who've also just been announced as part of the new range. And those guys do look pretty interesting, I have to say, as does Web Store, the cartoon collection version. And, these guys that have already been released, such as Trapjaw, Merman. Now these guys ever turned up here in Malaysia, though. Okay. But for the rest of the world, if you are finding these figures in stores, then I guess that you're in for a hell of a time, okay? Because they are going in so many different directions and they've teased so many different things to come. So let's just find out, what's next on the pipeline. I'm pretty excited about this series. I sure hope that I can start collecting it someday. Now, hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you guys think about all this. And I'll catch you guys again real soon with more content. Take care out there.